I learned quickly in 2014 that I'm a terrible business owner. I'm a great real estate agent, but I learned quickly that I was a terrible business owner.
So I'm Tyson Mullis. I'm the owner of Ford & Associates, powered by the Phoenix. I'm a husband to an amazing woman. One of my favorite things about my story in life is the loss that we suffered, my wife and I, by infertility and never being able to conceive led us to adoption, which led us to, honestly, adopting the coolest kid in the world. So my boy's Chauncey. He's 8 years old, and he's my world.
Do you know how I know how many deals I did in 2014? I kept a blue pen from every closing, and I got in my car and I had this big Ziploc baggie, and I would just put the blue pen in and I'd close it up. And at the end of the year, I remember going to a Panera and I laid out all my pens and I counted them, and I closed 61 deals that year. And the only reason I knew that is because I had 61 blue pens. This is also the year that my son was born. So I had my son, I had no help, no further help, and it was one of my busiest years of my life. So much that I went to a closing, they gave me a check, and they gave me 2 envelopes. And I was like, I just had one closing. And I opened up the second check. It was a closing from 3 months ago that I had forgot to pick up the money. I remember the blue pen, but I forgot my big check, right? Like, it was a hot mess. And yeah, so 2014 till now, 2022, 8 years? Dang, 8 years with Keller Williams. You know what's funny is I still remember coming into the office, and I came into the market center, and it was a team meeting, and I was getting introduced to some people. One of the guys was like, hey, I saw your numbers and you have no support or help? And I was like, no. And he goes, and your wife is still with you? And there was a lot of truth to it. You know, what's sad is I'd actually heard those words that my wife had felt like she was put on the back burner. There was also a big push at that time because I took my son on a listing appointment because my wife had a good job, not even a couple months old. And this woman is like, she's like, oh, let me hold your son during the listing appointment while you talk to my parents. My son is bouncing on her leg and he has this blowout and it's all over her pants. I go outside and I change my son in the car, and I have no change of clothes because I'm sucking at a dad and because I'm not the best, I was compounded everything. So I come back inside and my son only has a diaper on and she's wiping up poop off her leg, and the clients weren't really, I didn't get that listing. And I left that listing right away and I was like, honey, you need to quit your job or we need a child care person. And my wife was like, I'll quit. And I was like, again, we suffered loss. Like, there was no reason that she shouldn't quit her job to be present with our son that we adopted, right? That gave me the opportunity to, okay, now I can take this to the next level. So that's where I was at then. I came to Keller Williams, and the very first class I took is now the class that I love teaching the most, is the 6 personal perspectives. I go to that class and it's taught by the Prescotts, investors in our office, amazing people. And John, the former president of Bolds for all of Keller Williams, he even looks at me and is like, hey kid, what are you doing? You're doing this much business and you have no help? You need a coach. Did I ever get blessed by getting aligned with the best coach? I get paired up with a coach, and I start treating my business like a business. And I tracked my numbers for an entire year. And the trajectory after that, treating my business like a business, one thing that changed everything, it was hiring a coach that kept me accountable to my numbers and treating my business like a business. This is where I learned if you want to be a great real estate agent, you do it with other people. It always comes back to why? Why do more? Why not just be content? Why not just make good money and keep it to yourself? And again, I had the pleasure of adopting my son. I want to be able to help others adopt. And so what we did is we had a goal to serve 120 families. And once we served 120 families, we were going to help 3 families adopt, right? So all the money we were going to make, we were going to set aside, and we were going to help give these people money to then help adopt. And that was the best year that we ever had. We served 105 families. So we didn't hit our goal, but we helped 4 families adopt. I now have an opportunity to build something with the Phoenix, and in 5 years, we are going to have something that from every year after that donates $1 million every year, right? It's gonna be a system where they know that the Phoenix is donating $1 million, and that legacy will continue forever. And again, it's not about me, it's about us. And The one thing that's really changed, and I still have the same coach, so it's been darn near 8 years of my life now. And he asked me the question, how do you make real estate fun again? And that's what we're doing. We're disruptive, we're innovative, we're inappropriate, everything. But we're having fun, and we're having fun together. And so that's honestly, I have joy in my life again. So that's where I'm at.